came up for me, summer solstice 2022, was being hit with this wave and recognizing it as the term that I call soul tired. And when I was then able to put words to this feeling, and I wasn't alone when this hit me. So I had friends with me asking, what's going on? What's wrong? And when I then was able to put words to it, it was, I am tired. I am so tired. And it's not physically tired. It's not even emotionally or mentally tired. I am soul tired. And you know what? Maybe in a sense, this soul tiredness goes beyond this lifetime. Maybe it's been experienced many lifetimes before. And in a sense, it's a remembrance of that. But right now, here in this present lifetime, I am so tired. But what do you mean? I am tired of going it alone. I'm tired of being the one doing it all. I want someone to be able to hold space for me in the way that I hold space for everyone else. And so this was my thing, and it was I'm holding space for family, for children, for extended family, for in relationships, I'm the one holding space. I'm holding space for clients. I'm even holding space for the earth. And it feels like there is no one physically there to hold space for me. And even though I'm not alone, I'm never alone. I'm never alone. There's always someone with me. And I like alone time. I enjoy alone time. I need alone time. But this acknowledgement that something had been bubbling up for me for a good couple of months, and in a sense, maybe it was a case, I say maybe, because the reason I'm speaking to this today is because it still came up for me again this year. It still was something that hadn't been fully resolved. It's not, there's been a big shift, I feel, in my energy over the past, probably in the sense of really kind of re-acknowledging it again and allowing space to be held for me. But there is, we don't admit our loneliness. We don't admit when we're feeling lonely. And where I spoke about that wall of separation, of abandonment and betrayal, loneliness, even though not at the exact same frequency of abandonment and betrayal, loneliness fits under that umbrella. And we do not admit to ourselves very often that we're feeling lonely. So there's then this block that comes in. We can be through different experiences, and I am going to be more relationship focused in this, but these relationships, it could be romantic, family relationships, friendships, or lack of. And for example, if it is in a romantic relationship that we've had and we've been hurt and no one's showing up for you the same way that you show up for yourself, we can get to a point where we think, can't be bothered anymore, I'm not going to make the effort. Not necessarily, I mean, that relationship may have ended, but just generally can't be bothered. Or, what's the point? Why am I going to open myself up to anything? We can be dismissive. And the same way, and I guess what we're doing is we're responding to the situation that we experienced with a very similar frequency. So not necessarily to that person, but just to the situation as a whole. But not just to the situation, but to the potentialities that could open up in our lives for the most greatest love, the most wonderful experience, the most beautiful, true, authentic connections, the most healed version of ourselves. We're even being dismissive to what could potentially be the most healed version of ourselves. So we close ourselves. And where is it? It's there. It's here in the heart. We close the heart down. And it's this really kind of subtle level. And I see it very much in terms of in this kind of, in this area, I can't think of the right word, but in the spiritual kind of sphere of existence. So we do all this, we've done all of this healing, and then it gets to the point where we should be walking through the gateway of light. The gateway of light. Oh my God. So the gateway of light to, I don't even know if, to the, oh no, there we go. To that real deep heart connection. Actually, let me just pick that up so I can, oh God, I don't want to burn anything. There we go. We should be walking through that gateway of light to this deep heart-centered connection, and see how also it's not only that connection isn't just there at the heart, it's also at the throat chakra as well, at the mouth, at the throat chakra. Authentic truth. Our heart is the gateway to our authentic truth. So in a sense, the way I see it is that getting to that point, we do all this wonderful healing and we get to a really good frequency and we radiate light. Yet if there is something that we're not even admitting to ourselves, if there is something that we are, and funnily enough, I'd already planned most of this post, and then I saw a post on Instagram from Hood Healer, and it spoke about avoidance and what brings peace, and the fact that avoidance, and I'm just kind of like paraphrasing here, and I was like, actually, this is so important in terms of what I was gonna. It was like, in a sense, like the missing piece when we're looking at this feeling of being soul tied, and then all really coming into that truth of, shit, this is all I've been blocking. My avoidance is preventing me from being able to cultivate a state of inner peace, because my avoidance means that I am not going to confront the issue. Sometimes there's something that we need to confront with somebody else on that physical level, but very often the confrontation that needs to take place is with ourselves, with our heart, with our soul. What do I need to confront? What am I not admitting to myself? And if I'm not admitting this to myself, then I cannot shift whatever is going on. And if I can't shift whatever is going on, what I truly feel, then I cannot enter that state of inner peace that I so truly crave. That state of inner peace that may may only be able to come through in sacred communion with another. So, our heart, our heart is the portal between the physical and the spiritual. If we are avoiding our truth, if we are not willing to confront what it is we truly feel, the energy falls back into the solar plexus chakra. It's going to cause disharmony and havoc with that wall of separation of lack of trust and self-doubt. We won't, when an opportunity then presents itself, we're going to struggle to make a decision. When we're struggling to make a decision, and this is in terms of linked to that soul tide energy, when this came up for me again earlier this year, between January and March this year, when this was coming up for me, I was literally going back, forth, trying to make a decision, getting really frustrated with myself that I could not make a decision, that I was not taking control of my own life, my destiny, my wants, my desires, my inner peace, and just causing havoc, chaos, disharmony even within me. And this is the thing, we just go into then back into those cycles of lack of trust and self-doubt. Not trusting our gut, not trusting the messages that the universe is sending us and the guidance. And when we do that, we're then going out, we're looking external from ourselves. We're looking externally from ourselves to try and figure out what it is that we want and what decision we can make, when we know all along it's here. Our intuition knows, it guides. We've all got such powerful intuition. We just have to trust it. We have to trust ourselves. And intuition isn't here in the gut. Gut instincts is different from intuition. Intuition, to me, intuition resides in the third eye. The third eye is the higher emotional aspect. That higher emotional aspect cannot kick in until we have stepped into mastery of our sacral chakra. Because sacral chakra deals with our emotions, our emotional maturity, our emotional processing. But if it's coming from the sacral chakra, it's got to pass the heart. It has to pass the heart chakra. And it then has to become our authentic truth. And in us recognizing, acknowledging, and not avoiding our authentic truth, allowing it to process and pass through this heart space, letting go and releasing all of those habits, behaviors, fears, doubt, letting that release itself via the heart and transmute as it passes through the portal of the heart to become our authentic truth. We step closer into our higher emotional aspect, where our intuition will work and serve in a way to be discerning. And discernment itself is a frequency. Discernment is not something we need to do. When we discern, we are looking at a frequency that does it for us. It will ensure that what is not for our highest good generally won't be able to come into our sphere of existence. At times we will need to use our intuition, but that higher emotional aspect will ensure that we are able to work with and use our intuition without those levels of lack of trust and self-doubt. So that feeling forsaken, and when you look up what forsaken means, it means abandoned. That feeling forsaken, which when we're feeling forsaken, it's very kind of more on that higher God, divine source, creator, goddess energy. When we feel forsaken by that higher existence, that higher power. And that is, I suppose, another element which feeling soul tired highlights for us, that actually is even beyond the physical. Like, why is it that I still feel this way? Why is it that this has happened, and feeling forsaken from by that higher source energy? But being at that point where you're ready to acknowledge it, where you're ready to admit it, where you're ready to really come into your heart space and allow things to shift, allow things to finally be released and really, really move on. And I just want to finish off with these words that I saw today as well. And the account was Words of Vibrations on Instagram. And it says, the most courageous act in a world that is cruel and numb is to feel the pain and still choose to live with your heart wide open. And that goes for us and the little things even that have slightly shut our heart down. No matter what, it is courageous of us to continue to live with our heart open. And in living with our heart open, we feel absolutely everything, every emotion. We're living, we are alive. And that's what the heart does. The heart keeps us alive.